The Living Autism Assessment Tutorial. This application is internet-based and is for use with Windows 8 and above. Reports are saved locally on your computer or server. The Living Autism Individual Assessment helps you identify a person's wishes as well as their needs in terms of supporting their autism and also their independence requirements. A full report is produced for you once the form is completed. To start an assessment, just click on Create Assessment. And your first page is Assessment Key Data. To go back to the main menu at any time, click the top left arrow and that takes you back to the main menu. In this case, we're going to go to an assessment in progress because we have already started an assessment. And we will choose the last one that we were working on. Here is your assessment key data page. At any point to work through the form, you can either swipe left and right to go to where you'd like to go, or you can go to the top left 3 buttons, click that, and you will see a menu appearing on the right hand side. And you can maximize each area by clicking on the triangles, and you can minimize in the same way by clicking on the triangles again. In the assessment key data, you will be asked information about the individual, and you will also need to put who the assessment officer is as well as who the co-officer might be. You will need to also put the contact data, so the person you need to contact regarding this assessment. You also will be asked whether a capacity assessment has been carried out by the local authority, and if it has, you need to click that box. You will be asked how much support and at what level the individual has been receiving up to the point of the assessment. Over here we have chosen 1-to-1 for daytime and half person to 1 for the nighttime. The primary carer we have put was 1 family member, and you need to put the name of the primary carer, how many hours of support they have been providing, and importantly, whether the carer needs support, in which case you would click from the drop-down menu, and whether they need a carer's assessment. You will need to put the names of the people who have been interviewed for this assessment and the relation to the individual, and you will also need to say whether the individual was interviewed as well directly. To move on, you come to areas of assessment. You will need to come back to this page when you have completed the whole form so you can flag up the areas of most concern. As you're working through, there will be some parts of the assessment which will ask you whether the individual requires no support, partial support, substantial support, or full support. If it is no support, that means the individual is totally independent in this area or has no trouble at all. Partial support means they need some prompting, such as visual cues or verbal cues. Substantial support means the individual needs someone alongside them to help them perform the task, or they need someone alongside them because they have particular difficulties in this area. And full support means that the task has to be done fully for the individual, or they have particular difficulties in that area. So you will need to come back to this page. The next page is summary report. Do not complete this. This will autofill. The individual's abilities. About me, you need to complete this. In some areas you will see that there is free writing. We have put gardening here, and in others you have a drop-down menu to choose from. My strengths and abilities is free writing, and every time you complete a line, a new line will appear for you underneath. You also have an area for free notes. Please remember to use the individual's preferred name here. In this assessment, we have called our individual Minnie. At every point, try to remember to save your assessment, so everything you have done up to that point will be saved, and you can come back to it later on. You will work through the assessment. The next one is my skills and needs. On this page, this is important that this is from the individual's perspective, what they feel their skills are, what they feel their needs are, and the assessor needs to say who they have gathered information from. In this case, it was Minnie herself with the assistance from her mother, and this is a free writing page. And now we come to the areas of particular note to autism. I've clicked now to open up our menu, and you will see when we click autism that there will be 5 areas: anxiety and behavior, social understanding, social imagination, transitioning, and sensory issues. And you will need to work through each area. Again, some parts are free writing and some parts are drop-down menus. You always have an area for free notes, and you will be asked how often the support is required, so daily, weekly, monthly, occasionally. And for each section, you have the opportunity to put down how much support is required over a 24-hour period. Over here, we have chosen 1-to-1 from 7 till 9, and then the support is reduced until 6 in the evening, and then it is reduced again from 10 o'clock at night. For each hour, you can put down either no support whatsoever or up to 3.5 people to support this individual. You will have this in every section. You will work through the whole assessment, and you will see that in some parts you will be asked no support, partial support, substantial support, and as we have explained, you just need to click the one that is most relevant. You will always have notes and number of hours to complete, so you have that opportunity on every page. You continue throughout the whole assessment, remembering to save as you go along. And when you come to the part about skills, there is just one more question, and that is, has the person got abilities in these skills, however can show resistance in using them? That might be through lack of motivation or through anxiety, in which case that's the one you would click. Or has the person got expectations beyond their abilities in the skills, in which case that would be the one that you would click. So for now, let's click that one. You will work your way through to the end of the form, and then remember that you will need to come back, right at the end you will need to come back to complete that area where you're flagging up the areas of most concern. So we will go right back to the areas of assessment, and we will highlight the sections that are of most concern. We will highlight here anxieties and behavior, social understanding, and let's put domestic skills. You will then need to pull up your report. So we go back to that last page and click Get Report. Now, this could take a few minutes, so you need to be a little bit patient, but it does come after a little while. And the full report is written for you, and there it is. The full report is written for you, showing how much support Minnie had up to the point of the assessment, flagging up that the carer does require respite and a carer's assessment, and here flagging up the areas of most concern. Those are flagged up for you. And then you have a summary of the number of hours and the level of support that are required over a 24-hour period. That's taken as a summary from the whole form, and the red line is the support and level that the individual has had up to the point of this assessment. You will have the full report here, and there are some areas that are flagged up as an alert, so you just need to pay attention to those. And in other areas, you will see a red, amber, and green system. So if it's green, partial support is required. If it's amber, substantial support. And if it's red, full support. So again, those are areas of particular attention we need to pay attention to. Once you have your report and you are happy with it, you can then save it locally by We'll go back to the report. You can save it locally by clicking Get PDF. Again, this could take a few minutes, and you will be asked where you would like to save your report locally and what name you would like to give it. Again, it takes just a few minutes, but it does come so that you can save this report locally on your computer. And there it is, and we will give this one a name, and there you have your report saved. And that is the end of this tutorial. Thank you very much for listening.